Content warning. The following video may contain material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. I am not giving medical advice or telling others how to live their lives. This channel is for philosophical, ideological, metaphysical, and comedy purposes only. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Hello everybody. Okay, so I'm about to have a call with Illicit Mind. I kind of want to get the simple stuff out of the way. He's another YouTuber. He creates content. I'm subscribed to him. You can find him through the channels I'm subscribed to. He is an anti-natalist. He believes that bringing children into this reality is the first irresponsible parental mistake any parent could make, because it's not a realm worth bringing kids into. In a nutshell, anti-natalists just believe that having kids in a realm that makes people suffer is a bad idea. He also identifies as an ethicist. I myself agree with anti-natalist ideologies, and maybe not everyone. I haven't studied it, every aspect of it. I don't know if that's all of it. If that's all of it, I agree. But I would say take a step towards repairing the reality before completely condemning it and ending your lineage. But if the reality can't change and it has to be this way, then absolutely they are right. And unfortunately, no, I can't say lately I agree with the latter, to be honest. I do feel like this reality can change. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give him a call and we're going to talk and see how it goes, guys. Hello?
Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, just a heads up. Is it okay if I record this conversation?
Give me a moment, just one moment. Sorry, Chris.
You're fine.
All right. Oh, cool. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Actually, I'm doing really good. I almost want to be pessimistic because that's the script I want to run now. But no, I'm actually doing well. How you doing today?
Likewise, man.
Really? Good for you, brother. I gave, right before I called you, I gave a sort of quick description of what your channel's about, anti-nihilism. I still don't know Ephesus. I hope that you'll be able to explain that one to me, because I don't actually seek out to be in a box or this is what I am. I don't want to identify as anything personally.
Of course.
If things relate to my beliefs, I think that's pretty awesome. And I do agree with anti-nihilism to a degree. But I gave a quick description of you as an anti-nihilist. I do want to ask you, what is an ethicist? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so like you said, you're essentially looking to ground any such said truth that anyone wants to, say is the truth. We have to ground it to a reality. So it's like, what's the most crudest sense that I can articulate, right? So of course, I'm just saying your question, so let me just get to the gist. So it's a thought concept, right? I look to, mention the obvious, perspective with that type of mentality, that philosophy, that essentially you're just, conceding to an obvious point, because, with, the anti-natalism, what that entails, what that means, all of that, essentially in your, because we all have our own technical world, right? It's your, how you perceive this world. That's your world. So in an obvious sense, it is an ethicist, it's they're like tomato, they're like, a pear in an obvious sense, right? And so obviously it's not, a grander scale of now, going more into physical and, doing all this, certain material things and fixing all. No, it's just a certain thought concept where you're like, yeah, obviously like Rita McLeod was the one guy I mentioned with you about. It's just very simple. There's no need to create need. And we know that. That's a fact. But, with creating an unnecessary need, there's going to be now needs, we have to do. And so it's very simple statements that we have to just concede to if we want to, we're knowledgeable, that we understand sentence and, fluid structure, like just simple concepts. And so that's all it is. It's not necessarily, and for anyone that looks to want to do something, hey, more power to you. But I don't have the whole point is no one has any answers, right? Kanye West is such a interesting archetype And, we all know that infamous, time with him on the sway in the morning and, the whole, you ain't got the answers sway. Well, no one has the answers. And so we're just saying, right, there isn't any need to, essentially have this happen right now. And we all know that's the case. And so, that's all that's, explaining.
Oh, amen. So I'm still confused. So an ephelis is just saying that we don't need to exist.
Yep, there's no need to create need. And so obviously with our sentient creature...
Okay, that makes sense. There's no need to create need. I see what you're saying. By creating, you're creating something that needs.
It's already starting off on a terrible foundation, and we know this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, I don't... Okay, I know. Maybe I'm optimistic.
No, go ahead, please. Out that stuff, please. I want to see, because there's clearly people that don't agree. But it's a clear sense. It's not like you have to agree. It's just, do you understand the point, right?
Oh, I do. I mean, if you watch any of my videos,
right.
It's definitely a suffering realm. But there is still an aspect of my mind that believes, for some reason, I don't know why, it's an optimism, a fake happy, maybe it's a mental comfort zone, that we could make reality a good place. But, I mean, when you observe, you've been watching it for so long, obviously the logical brain is like, oh, this shit don't change. It's always like this. It's always a hellhole. It's always going to be suffering. I personally, I don't know if you've watched my more recent videos, but I personally believe that the food chain don't stop at human, that there's like some sort of entity above human that's, you can call it a demon, a Satan, or whatever. I call it the mind virus, or at least that's how it infiltrates and affects humanity. Is through the subconscious mind of humans. Like I was saying in a video I just uploaded earlier today that so we can choose to entertain the thoughts that enter our minds, but we don't get to choose the thing that projects them into our minds. The thought stream's already there. We just choose to entertain it. And I said that the thing that controls the projector is the thing that truly sways humanity. Because if I can only access the thoughts that are projected into my mind, absent of the projection machine, it's an empty mind. I can only access what the projector's projecting into my mind anyways at the end of the day. I'm limited to its reality. So this is a sort of realization I came to earlier. I want to know who controls the projector thing. Because I can choose what thought to entertain, but I can't choose which thought gets thrown in. That's automatic. I call that the mind virus. Do you believe that there's some sort of subconscious entity that affects humanity, or some sort of demon or spirit creature or Satan or whatever?
I mean, that's the point, right? I have to say, obviously, yes. Now, of course, in terms of what we would want to describe it as, mind virus is very suitable for anyone that just heard what you just said. It's not like whatever you would want to say against this. Why? That is, yes, I'm on the same, yes, everything you said is, I'm on the, yes. So hopefully you get all this ramble down. But, it's just, it's just how someone wants to articulate it. But we know we're not in control. It's all we're saying. That's all you're saying, that you're not in control. And so we are, in a sense, giving up to that is that ultimate controller, right? And so we only have a certain way of dictating or influence within that projection, like you were saying. But like it's not still that, that's our projection that we have the, control of emitting and, all this. So yes, there's something dark going on. That's all the best I can. And so yes, mind virus is the case. Because yes, I wanted to say that the world can be a much better place. I mean, from that conversation that you had with one with you, or hopefully, yes, great guy. I mean, mine. And so it's like there's clear things we could do right now to make the world a better. So it's not like, but the thing is right, how do we get there, right? It's like we have a set of knowledge, so yes, in terms of connecting to people, if people think like you or me, I mean, I believe, yes, it's very attainable right now. The whole question is people just don't have a mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was, honestly, I think it was obtainable.
Either this is part of this mind virus, but this is a very, very concrete saying. People do not have a mind. Their mind is given to them. When I heard that from SQS, all of this is like, do you fucking care about anything interesting? Like, this is the most interesting thing to think about in my eyes. So people like SQS from, you can look him up if you have Wise Solace, Brother Panic, just people that are thought-provoking, but it's just knowing, gnosis, right? It has to have a piercing truth. Yeah, you have to really feel it and be like, damn, this is really, it's nothing, everything we're saying is truth. right? We're just kind of articulating how best, and so there's no, again, disagreement, right? It's just we're trying to articulate it how best we can, right? And so,
yeah, dude, you know what I noticed too is like, okay, so every time I don't listen to the subconscious voice, something beautiful happens. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Like, okay, if I'm at work and I see a coworker suffering, my initial reaction, and I think this is my real one, is to go and console them or to hug them. But then the mind virus will sway me away from doing that by influencing my thought. No, Chris, if you hugged her, it'd be too personal. It'd be weird. It would become an awkward moment. Every time I step above that stupid little fucking retard voice in there that says some dumb shit, it always ends up being beautiful. Every time. So, and that tells me the voice is always swaying me to not bring happiness or love into the world. So that right there tells me that it's evil. Well, I also would say that if we're all subjected to the voice, and humanity can only project outwardly what is within us, the state of humanity says what's within us. So it has to be evil or dark or whatever. And well, not to mention, I mean, I also believe, I don't know if you're into the Dr. Marzinski videos and stuff, but oh yeah, I actually believe all that. Like I'm pretty sure he's telling the truth. Because again, if we just logically think about it, you don't hear voices, but you still sort of dealt with an internal dialogue your whole life. Like, you know the voices. Just because you don't auditorily hear them doesn't mean you haven't experienced them. So we can still look at it logically. It's absolutely true. So in your opinion, because nobody knows, like you said, you're absolutely right. Nobody does know. But in your opinion, what do you think's going on here right now?
I agree with everything. Like I said, man, like everything like you're saying, like there's just a certain where it's like, I'm not even trying to like, when somebody has even the care to even have to, promote whatever thing they want to say as they, can express as truth. Like that person you mentioned, what was his name? Dr.
Marzinski, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially just putting yourself out there and saying, this is what, I mean, you can contend against what I would have to say, but like you should, see where I'm coming from. And if you have something against what any one of us are saying, please provide that commentary, whatever the fucking obvious, reasonable way. And that's not happening. So anything I'm saying is just, if somebody like you or whoever the fuck, if you're around this type of thought realm, and I really, am hearing what you're saying, and I am, yes, everything that you're saying is making sense. We do have, different forms of personalities within our own personality. Everything is like a fractal. On one of my recent videos, I mentioned, pretty much this concept of God is like a fractal. We still have a certain control, but it's obviously like within a certain bubble. Do you still hear me?
Yeah. I'm agreeing with what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I'll let you go there.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought too. I think I also mentioned that in a recent video too, that and I had said if we are, in fact, a fractured version of God, or this is what's happening now, all is one is connected, then God's in bad shape, man. Then God's in fucking, he's in bad shape.
Yeah, and so that's the interesting part, and we're definitely going to go into some things, but I wanted to ask you a question because, with this mind virus, it's only just trying to probe to like get, closer to the understanding, to, the concept. So we know so there's an element of what you're describing that's natural, right? Awareness is more pure, it's like, just think of just white, right? It's just, clean, it's not like any of this good or evil, knowledge of truth. It's just whatever, like it just is, right?
Yeah, indifferent.
We don't, right? We will never, the very fact, with just this tongue of civilization language with the English, we know all this is like, sorcery and shit, but it's not that deep. But you get like why I said a word like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Point is that, we like to reflect on a certain pastime and be like, oh, we need to, go back to nature and that, oh, this is the way we must now live. Or, for whatever the fuck any one of us want to say we're doing. The issue is that, well, even then it was pretty bad too. The only issue is you weren't really aware of it in a certain sense. Like you have the awareness of life, but you didn't have the awareness of all the functions of life back in the, indigenous back days and all that shit.
Yeah,
it was
miserable.
still obviously a great existence, right? Because the whole concept of like ignorance being blissful in that framework, because you're just, one in tune more with, the nature. And so you don't have these thoughts that we shouldn't be thinking them as much as we do. Okay, we get the point. We get the point. The issue is we're like, how the fuck is it that no one around us seems to care? So it's like, it's not even like it's knowledge. It's like the care. It's like the heart, the emotion. You know, people, we like to really get into like the truth. And so we like to think of like the feminine aspect of like logic, facts, reason. But really it's that female. I have a recent video. I mean, all this is just very simple, but I don't know if people can, put the puzzle pieces together. That female component is very vital. And so that's what's getting portrayed by people like you and people like me, because we know that this can literally be a better place. That's that feminine energy. Like, that's still a good energy you can utilize. It's just that people don't really understand it for what it is.
Yeah, amen. I agree 100%. Listen, actually, I wanted to start this video out too, or this call out too, by saying I appreciate you. I appreciate your channel. Thank you for what you do. I don't think people like us are appreciated enough. And that's actually, I got to make another video about that. But I do appreciate what you do because, to be honest with you, brother, there's probably 1 out of 100,000 people that would even have the balls to put themselves out there and speak the type of truths that you speak. So I just wanted to say I genuinely appreciate you for what you do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you existing in the reality. I'll say that's a weird way to say it, but thank you for what you do.
That part. Thank you. I appreciate you, Chris. And so there's so many things that I could look to say, but I'm gonna, so the whole point again is like the heart component, the healing component, the heart, right? And so if you can get somebody really where it hurts, which is the heart, people say they either want to hate this or love this. So, and people have that for many things. They're not really indifferent to many things. Everyone has a fucking opinion on something, right? And so it's always that love first, I guess, that overarching banner to that, feeling or whatever the fuck they want to say they're doing here. And so I say this to say, like, I feel like I've been told I have great people that I've met from, doing these videos, and I agree from what I've been, because yes, I believe you and I, and whoever the fuck is here listening right now, you are a saint. You are living by honor. Like, this is like a certain video game, like we always want to say assimilation. Well, like you're living like a certain character type that is so commendable, of so great, maturity, balance, fairness, wholeness, like all these. So, you like to think of like, oh, this is so much dark. And no, it's the reverse, out of darkness comes light. So sometimes you have to go back, with these fucking parables that, the allegory, the cave, and fucking Jesus going back in the for the 3 days. So it's like, you have to sometimes, and we all did, right? And I still do. I'm an introvert. You have to, get away from fucking society and understand what the fuck is this even happening. And then have a grounded reality on that, see where other people are on that, and see that, wow, people don't even fucking care about even thinking about any of this shit. And so it's like, wow, at the very least, I just need to make sure and like try to, speak my truth out as if, I'm like, people talking like these constant, the judgment day and all this, when's it coming? Nigga, we're all gonna die. People like to say, oh, Jesus died for my sins or any of this shit. No, you will die for you, right? So it's like putting this back on you. A lot of times we like to say, oh, I understand, the truth community, but I really believe it's very shady, very shady. And you made a lot of points too from the past call you had with few, with the, we have to put things back to self, right? For whatever the fuck you. So the truth you should be living a certain truth, right? That's visceral. That someone's like, man, like, damn it. Like, and so what I'm saying is something as simple as voting, right? Just something that you're doing. And so obviously with your tongue, that's the strongest thing that you could, if you hold me by my tongue, I mean, that's the first thing that I can look to do before any physical action in this universe. And this is like the best way I can look to describe how the unfortunate state of affairs are. And so again, seeing that people are not even caring about entering this realm for the most part, right? It's very concerning. And so
you cut out, I heard for the most part, right? That was the last thing I heard.
Ooh, yeah, I was pretty much done.
Yeah, you made a couple points there. I think that so what is your opinion on the NPC argument? Because you say like,
I believe it, because again, it's not a belief, right? You have to understand the understanding, right? And so it's like, well, if you want guys, people listening, do you understand the concept NPC? It's not like is it a belief? No. Do you understand that knowledge? Right? It's a definition in a sense, right? And that is clear as day. There's a lot of truth to something like Gnosticism. Don't get so caught up in the woodworks, right? But there's like 3 different types of people. And with the usual territory, the terrestrial, they're the Hylink. And that's pretty much just saying NPC, right? So it's just a word. And so with a word, it's going to have a certain meaning. And it has to have, a certain grounded truth to reality, without a simple concept behind any lie, there's a certain truth. There will always be a truth. Always, check what's it like? Every stone uncovered. Like every lie has a truth, and there's a lot of lies. So something like NPCs, yeah, you can obviously see how people, want to say, oh, they did it, but you get the concept of how that is a reality because it is. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. So maybe are you allowing the NPCs to infuriate you for existing as they are?
So this infuriation, I mean, obviously there is a certain rage, but we all know that you have to be, mentally tranquil, mentally, emotionally, spiritually balanced and wealthy. So in terms of any physical thing for out there for what, I don't give a fuck. You get my point? It's like, yeah, we obviously care. Like, look at what the fuck we're doing. But there's a certain sense, this is the most involuntary sense that I can look to do this. I'm not doing anything. We, associate a certain time towards, studying and doing certain things. But at the end of the day, this is again, the most curious thing. I mean, as a human creature, what the fuck? So it's not even this is just a natural thing to do, but in a certain sense I wouldn't obviously you or I would want to be put in this position to have to work within these predicaments. So it's literally like I'm a robot, and that's with these certain things. So NPC, throw it back to yourself. Very simple. My name is Uno. That's not my name. That's my nickname. And so all these things, if you try to connect the dots and synchronize all these different things. I think Santos Bonacci, it's like syncretism or something. But you get the point. I don't even know what that is, but you get the point from that just word. It's yeah, I see a lot of that. You talk a lot about that too. Point is, it's talk to whatever you want to say about other people. You better know how to reverse card that shit back to yourself. So everything that I'm doing and that you're doing in a sense, we're not of any harm. We're not of any true actual. You said a certain word. I forgot the word. But yeah, we have a certain anger, but it's actually, that's the delusion. There's always with any of these, ancient images and stuff, there's always the law of duality. It's you can look at it one way or you can look at it the other way. Well, people look at it the superficial way with all this shit. People are superficial. So that just goes back to the NPC shit. Very clear. And with anything, there's a certain obvious thing, but then there's a certain underground thing. And so it's the esoteric. And so it's if you understand, well, what's the understanding that, underlying principle toward whatever the fuck, then it's you don't really disagree with people. I don't disagree with people. People disagree with me. And so I'm just why are you disagreeing with me? It's not so you get my point?
And sort of. Well, so you don't understand why other people are disagreeing with you? I would say most people would disagree with what we say. Most people.
That's what I'm saying. But then you have to act accordingly. There's a certain alignment. It's truth. So it's not just talking the talk. You have to walk the walk, and people are not walking the walk.
Oh, amen. Yeah, dude, I agree with that 10,000%. I mean, I preach that all the time. It's just are we ever going to do anything? Have we just become completely docile to this fucking demon we all identify as an evil demon? And I don't care if your hat club calls it this name and your hat club calls it that. It's man, we all identify it. I don't give a fuck about your cartoon. Can we just come together and agree to fight against it or work against it or figure out a way to stop it, figure out a way to work around it, figure out a way to work through it, do something? But humanity just seems so incapable.
Right, and that's just the issue. It's just it just seems like this was a mistake, right? And so it's just at bottom, right, with these concepts of anti-natalism, we get the point where it's just you can't contend against it, right? I mean, at bottom, at all, this shouldn't, in an obvious sense, be. Look at everyone so bewildered. No, this should not be, okay? And so just very simple. It's not do whatever the fuck. I don't. Shout out to the Hodge twins. I mean, we're average people. Okay, so I'm just saying, they have a saying. I used to watch them back when I was younger. They have a saying, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't, it's not I really can care less. I am only about, because there's a certain, with the whole, who's trying to save, a savior, right? It's all that concept. Well, you can only really save yourself, right? You can only really control, your own right thing. And so I'm good, right? I'm just trying to be this is again, involuntary. I'm just I feel I'm not that special, but this isn't even from this articulation that you can look to say, or I can look to say, is said enough in such a way. So I'm just well, fuck, now I have to make fucking YouTube videos. I'm not this, and who would want to have to be in this position? Again, it's involuntary, man. So I'm just it's a certain sacrifice, man. So you talk about martyrs and all these people, man. People are just sick because they condone evil. That's just facts. All this is simple sayings. So yeah, we're trying to pinpoint where is that. I mean, again, I would like to, if anyone on your channel that doesn't know me, I think that person, again, I think with anything and all of this shit, like I learned a lot just from already this conversation from you. So it's always like a self-regulating learning process. And so I'm just saying that to say you have something that I don't know, and then vice versa. And we should obviously, like with these conversations, conjoin so that we can then iron sharpen iron. Because again, some of those videos that I just posted, I know there's going to be some shit that, anybody, because it's just, what the fuck, why wouldn't you be doing something that you're going to be, in a sense, growing more into? So I'm just saying all this to say that, again, people are dumb again. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They're either dumb or they really are NPCs, and then it makes you question, is this some sort of, like, futuristically advanced fucking video game, and they're literally just characters in the game, and there's a few real ones, and I wonder if that is true. If this is like a simulation game, let's say, and we're characters in the game playing it with amnesia, we'll say, like getting into Grand Theft Auto and not knowing you're in Grand Theft Auto. Do you think that pondering things and philosophizing as a character, a real character in the game, is the best thing to do?
I mean, you have to, it's just saying thinking, okay? Philosophizing, you like to say, oh, we're so different people. No, we're just thinking. And who wouldn't say you're thinking? And we're all having to do a certain, thought process. Everyone has a philosophy on life. So it's just like, if we understand what we're saying and asking here, we're not really saying much. All this, very simple concepts of, nothingness. Well, this is obviously, in a certain sense, nothing. Because really, if you talk truth, a lot of this is just a bunch of nothing. But, with an actual truth, it's actually a lot of substance. And the lies are a lot, is the actual, like, false lies, the something. And so it's just, all of this is just, it's, you say what you want. Yes.
So you identify definitely with the anti-natalist and maybe even the ethicist beliefs. Do you believe that this is a sort of soul trap, this reality?
No.
So
No.
Do you feel that we have a soul?
No, I don't see, and that's the thing. So it's like, you can describe what you would want to, mean out of that. And I would, let you know. But you can describe what,
An awareness that exists absent of the body.
Right, and so it's not you though, right? So is it you
that's
that
a
have
weird
that soul,
question.
or is it, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I never really thought
So it's
about
not,
it.
so
Is
that's
that
a very
you?
simple concept, right? The you that you know you to be. So that's three yous. You are like third dimension, right? So that's twice removed from that original you, right? That you is the internal life. Me, my soul. Well, that's right. So you should already know. Not a certain obvious, right? So just understanding what people are saying is so very clear. You guys, we get these points.
Do you think that you're going to continue existing after you die? Whatever you feel like is the real you.
Right, and so from there, I'm just going to let the audience answer that, because given from what you are and I am, that's a question we all ask ourselves, right? And so you answer that for, the answer for, and so that's like, all these concepts are like, this is very your own mind in a sense, like, because you should get the understanding, but it's like, why the fuck is someone listening to my understanding right now? Like, you are a cock. And so all I'm saying is like, we get the point. And so it's like, whatever I have to say from a question, well, with the question, you already have your own answer in a way. Like we should have certain like obvious things where it's like, all right, we should know like what the fuck is up. And so, yeah. And so I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I've been wondering a lot lately. Like I've meditated deeply. I feel like I've left my body. But lately I've actually been wondering if this is all just a thing the brain does. This is all deception, and that when I die, I cease to exist. Would you prefer to cease to exist than to exist?
And that's the whole, like, I don't ever, so for me to even be asked now, the question now, it's like we don't have the understanding to truthfully have the answer. So whatever I look to say, again, people listening to this, pause, just ponder, contemplate, meditate, reflect, intro. This is a question Chris is asking to you, right? Not me. Right, I understand my own, and so I'm not really, it's like, with any of this, we're just kind of gearing people like that have any inkling towards this to have the certain answers that they know of knowledge of self, right? And so all this is like, these are all great questions, but that's the whole issue with like the truth community and all these things. We get too lost with the fucking mind. We want to say, oh, we can make the world a better place. Well, let's talk about that, right? Are you going to vote?
That's a great point.
Right? Are you going to vote next year?
No.
Okay, and I'm not either. And so for anyone that's in my community, oh, do so much in your community, guys, in community. Okay, so with people that are in your community, right, and I will do too, I will let them know if they care to I will put them privy to why I'm not voting. Right? And so very simple things like that, if we actually care about our loved ones and we're actually talking and we actually have any substance, right, then that's a very simple, practical, very, feasible, attainable expression you can all embody. And so simple things like that should already let open the door gates to things like this. It's all a fucking understanding. And people are dumb.
Yeah, people are definitely, well, they either, okay, I think they're either dumb, weak-minded.
No, they're dumb. No. They're dumb. See, understand. If you have an understanding to life, and we all like to say that, right? Who would not want to say that they have a certain concept to this life game here? Okay, well then from there, with understanding comes a certain wisdom. That's just how you certain kind of walk within this understanding, how you embody such understanding. So it's like an expression now with the wisdom of such knowledge to the understanding. And so what they're doing right now is dumb, because if they want to say that they're of any honorable, like these video game characters and shit, archetypes, they want to say like there's some hot shit, then again, they better be talking some like shit than what we're talking about, which is not much shit, but like you get my point.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So if their behavior is an indication of their intelligence, then they're extremely stupid. I guess it's just a
fact.
Yeah, kind of an observable fact. I think that they're really just stupid. But
there you go. Because you have to understand, with being dumb, it's like you should understand, like you should like have the ability to not be dumb. Like it's not like there's like it's nothing personal, visceral in the sense of like a congenital effect. No, it's like you say you're successful, you're this, you're that, and forth. Okay, well, for what we're looking to say and the obvious things of the angles of what we're looking to say, you should be embodying an obvious thought realm to the same, perspective of what you embody and I embody. We have a very similar truth alignment, clearly, and so it's like you should be in a certain perspective of what we're emulating out. And obviously most people are not. That's again, most people are dumb. Very simple.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it for a second, we would have to define dumb, because technically
I just did. Was that not a
I would say that if one of them, what I would call an NPC dumbass, and me sat together in college class, they may be way better at me. They may have a way better memory than me. They may understand architecture or engineering way better than me. But they're not dumb. They're just I don't know what they are, because they can be smarter than me, or what I would think is smart.
It's all this sorcery shit. So rightfully so, associated now, that terminology of dumb to a specific context, involving, curriculum within, government, whatever institutionalized. What's that?
Yeah, we would have to define dumb. Like, what do we mean by dumb?
And I just did. Like, listen. So with dumb, I'm saying you have the knowledge. You're saying in a sense you have the knowledge. People, again, we all say things like we're good people. Very simple. Like, you have to say something, right? Like, you have to be thinking. So all I'm saying is, we say we have a certain baseline. And so with any baseline, there's a certain set of understanding, a knowledge, a certain wisdom with anything that we like to say we're doing here. I'm just saying, if you're not doing what we're doing here in this clear, YouTube sense, I believe everyone should have some form of media, just at least this at the very least, and just be like, this is your mic, okay? This is your mic, and like just keep and letting people, at least just do it with your community, with group chats and stuff. Like I just don't know why people are not talking, right? And so I'm just saying that if you say you have any set of understanding to anything about this type of life, that there should be some set of understanding and wisdom, knowledge, and so. Again, you have to just do certain things, and people aren't. And I'm just trying to do certain things more viscerally so that I can understand who really is around me.
Yeah, I understand that. I've actually been saying that for years, but I've been saying that, like, well, why wouldn't you guys just all make your own YouTube channels? Like, it's not that difficult to sit there and talk.
Honestly, it's not even like quote unquote requirement, but like if you don't obviously get the concept to why we're looking to just say that point, then you're in your ego, you're like emotionally not balanced. Like, look at yourself. You don't understand why would you have to listen to somebody like just all these thinkers, Neil deGrasse Tyson, anyone, all these people, right? You want to throw rocks at them. No, at least they're actually saying something at that very fact alone. Yeah, you can look to judge it for whatever. But at the end of the day, what have you said, right? So people are just always wanting to emulate a certain savior figure. So people are they're lost, bewildered. Well, I'm not, you're not. And so that's okay, right? So we have that ultimate rest for ourselves, but for other people, hey.
Yeah, it's
That's why
kind of
it's just
sad.
like, I don't.
It definitely
with all
bothers
of
you,
this,
doesn't
like,
it?
go ahead. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It definitely bothers you, doesn't it? Like the unconscious non-thinkers really just eats at you. So did you, let me ask you, this might be personal. If it's too personal, you could avoid the question, whatever. Did you grow up in a violent household or a loving home?
Love.
Love.
I said God love. It's just some people just are. People. We manipulate. All of it is like chemicals. So we can manipulate. This love is like a drug, right? So you get
So
how this works.
who instilled it in you that to like love even strangers? You do, don't you?
Strangers, yeah, just as a like in a sense, I just hope the best for them, right? Done. Yeah, I love strangers. Yes, and
Yes.
so do you.
Yeah, so do I, absolutely. And that's why it bothers us. Because like
Right. And again, this
we
is
sort
just
of need them
conversation,
to wake
right?
up. What was that?
I was just saying, this is just conversation, right? If you're like, it's just very unfortunate that I can't seem to like do this with like people that I grew up with and stuff. Like I have to deal with. Unfortunately, I love you and everyone that's listening to this, but it's like I'm not with you viscerally, within my proximity, and so it's just like. Well, damn, it's just like, well, if we say like we love anything, well, this is like the most love thing like you can say. And again, I can like say, oh, well, you have I don't have the answers. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I can provide certain recommendations to certain things. If you want to say, oh, people are always trying to get the world to be something better. Okay, well, like, can we like have like literal concrete steps? Like this is a test in a certain sense. This life game right here, this is a test because it's clearly not, but the tests are still going to be something else, right? You're going to get graded. So this really, again, with whatever the fuck you're trying to look to, cultivate here, whatever you're doing, again, it's in a sense, it's a test to your own self. And so I know I'm not going to like be pretentious, but I'm okay, I'm fine. And so it's like, it's just trying to be, from a caring, standpoint. All these people, anyone listening to this, people, we are so. Let me just say this. We are so cool. Like, you're cool, Chris. All these people around this, because listen, simple things like, if you understand like the Kundalini and all this other bullshit, the chakras, it's just the heart, right? And so you understand how that's, the middle way, the pathway, Jesus, all this, emulation of these certain archetypes. Well, that's all we're really doing. And people are not emulating this. And so I'm not seeing a lot of love, but it's just these concepts get confusing, but it's like you still see the love because that's what you're trying to emulate. And so like people just have a different understanding, I guess, to love it. So it's just unfortunate, but loving is like caring, right? And so when you care for what's wanting to have, not even wanting. They have to. If you're caring for something, in a sense, something needs to be cared for them, right? So it's like a couple reaction. It's like a bond. And so something kind of needs to be cared for. And so there's things, obviously, here we need to care for with ourselves, our community. Well, then from there, we kind of have to care and love in a certain way. And people are really doing it very inefficiently. And I am too. But I think I am more efficiently than other people. Anyone listening to this, you are too, just on a certain level that you should, like, people need to appreciate. If you're, again, around these thoughts, listen, you are a hell of a person already. I would love to just, meet up. If I let you talk about Chris, it would be interesting, just to meet people and stuff. That's why it's interesting how everything's so dispersed. But yeah, man, like we're cool, man. And this is just all love, bro.
Appreciate that. I love you too, man. So do you think that potentially the care is placed in us to then later create more suffering for us? Because I always say that if this is some sort of feeding ground for negative entities, loosh, whatever, Bob.
And see, that's the issue, right? I am so sorry to cut you off. But
no, that's fine. Go ahead.
I appreciate you. So like you said, with the whole projector thing, well, the very obvious sense, we understand it comes through the way of a body, okay? So we like to say all this mystical stuff, the control. Well, okay, we aren't one with that in a obvious sense, right? So we are just we're like the puppets to it, right? So we have that source energy to a certain extent. So I'm just saying all this to say that we should connect it back to self. So when people like to say of a certain negative energy, talk about your own self. Put this, eat your own medicine and all that food shit. Like, reverse this Uno card to yourself and apply it to self and see how you are. Like, we all have a certain just negative, obvious, inevitable energy here. And so it's just all back to that self principle,
Yeah, amen. Absolutely. Actually, I've been... Well, actually, I can't go into that. That would be too personal. But I've been dealing with issues lately. seeing people differently than I used to after finding out certain aspects about them. And it's just like, look, at the end of the day, everybody's fucked up. Everybody here is fucked up. Me, like I could say, oh, we're so conscious, but we're one of them too. I do agree we are conscious. I do agree there is something special about us. I do agree that we're very rare and blah, 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 but we are still a same desire-driven meat monkey that'll, lie about this, cheat on that, this and that. I don't do it all. I don't do those types of things. I'm saying humans in general. But I still love them. I don't care. I mean, do I care if they're doing an ultimate evil? Yeah, I think they should be set on fire. But like as far as the life shit that will make us internally, what's up?
No, I just was agreeing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that all this stuff that we sell back to ourselves as a horrible, evil act is sold back to ourselves to put us in a sort of judgmental or negative state at the end of the day. And it's like, if you do this, you're evil. Well, but I was driven to do that. I had the desire to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so how could you judge me for being the way that I'm built? And then this goes back to the whole, when we die, we're going to get judged by something and this and that. And it's like, but it built us this way. How could it judge its own creation? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. So what would... Do you believe that this could potentially be like a learning school, this reality?
So, again, I'm going to first, anyone listening, you can pause before I would because I'll give a certain response to that, because that's always, one of those questions, right? But someone listening, right, I would just say, first off, just pause, just at least 15 minutes of breath work. Just fucking think about this for your own self real quick. What the fuck, who am I? All I'm saying is with, these concepts, all these concepts, we know we don't have the ultimate control here, okay? So when we want to play this word language, we have to be in an obvious, set grounded reality, okay? So something here, there's an obvious imposition, right? An imposition is a negative energy, okay? So it's essentially just saying there's certain things that we are just having to just be at least compelled to have to do in an involuntary sense, just to avoid negative stimuli. Okay, so to try to do like an ultimatum on your own self, these concepts, when it comes to like a certain higher principle with these metaphysics and shit, no one's going to give you the ultimate answer, okay? We should all have our certain answers for ourselves. Like all these, like people like you and I that are really like getting in there, like really probing, really, I enjoy these points, but the more and more I have these questions asking me, and the more honorable that I am to just be able to say it to a certain platform, the more I'm just saying, apply it to yourself. Like, if you already know knowledge yourself, then you already know the answer, right? So whatever I say, who the fuck am me, right? I come and go, you come and go, right? In a clear sense. So let's understand things, right? And so I would just end it like that.
Yeah, I would say I absolutely agree with that, because every time we internalize or learn something, it's more of a revealing. Like if I said anything or Illicit Mind said anything in this conversation and you learned something from it, how did you know it was true already would be the question.
Right.
So it must be internal.
Right? The thing is, people don't really know how many lies there are, right? It's just a lot of, like, oh my God, there's a lot of lies. And so you have to try to, smoke and mirrors.
You already know the truth, I think, is what we're trying to say. It's
right. You're just trying to say, how better can you look to emulate this truth to now your current projected reality to have a better life? And so that's the issue, right?
Mm-hmm. This is actually why I said, actually, that's interesting, Illicit. That's why I said, usually I would say, oh, it's a hellish day, blah, blah, misery realm. But I said today, no, it's actually a good day. I've just realized what you just said. And that is to be the most genuine me all the time. Fuck what anybody thinks or says. And fuck what even, this is what I realized most recently, fuck what even my own internal thoughts say. Do me in the face of all the pushback, including the pushback that's ingrained within me. If I feel the need to go and hug my coworker because I'm a loving human being, and the stupid little voice inside my head says, no, don't do that, it's going to be weird or this, motherfuck that voice, I'm going to go hug her. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, every time I say motherfuck that voice, something beautiful happens. So, and I don't know, you said you grew up in love. Does your internal voice always have negativity to say to you? And you
Not
may be an
necessarily.
advanced being,
You and I, listen, I'm not in your head, right? And you're not in a sense like in my head, but like, all I'm saying is anyone listening to this, I can say, I'm not you, but like, I can say for myself, right? As well, we're all just trying to do, that I am emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all these other inside gooey things balanced, okay? I'm not necessarily perfect in this physical, visceral sense, like anyone, right? We're not perfect, but so at the end of the day, I know I'm good, right? Because I know, all of this, how this, the truth, right? I know the truth of the matter, right? Clearly, right? And you do too. And so it's like, my people, like, the whole, in terms of feeling depressed or all these negative, it's like you get understanding why that's there. But like that, you get to like put it in its proper perspective. So it's just, if you have, again, it's just very simple. I'll stop there.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, just, so what if you had, what would be your, like, let's say this was your last conversation ever. Is there anything that you would say to humanity if you knew the whole of humanity was going to hear it after this conversation was done?
It's already been said. As above, so below. It's already been said. So, all this is just a bunch of repeating cycles.
I'm sorry, you cut out, Illicit. You said this is a bunch of repeating what?
Yeah, it's already been said. So if I were to say anything again, well, I can if I would feel compelled to do so. But this is just, I had to do something, while I'm here. So this is, that's why I still make videos and stuff, because all this is just me just trying to ask questions like you're trying to ask questions, right? Trying to really just understand somebody's mind, right? And so... I understand people's minds, and we understand, again, just these simple concepts. It's just to go back to the concepts, and so the etymology of just anything is the green language, all these certain, you understand the phonics and all that shit is very deep. But I'm just saying, what I was going to say, when you understand just life, I guess, then you know what's up, and so you're good. Like you're trying to just help people out. This is service unto others. Like everyone, like these concepts, like Jesus Christ. In an obvious sense, you should apply that to yourself, right? Christ consciousness. Like you guys don't understand. Like this, it's not much, right? First off, understand, right? The truth is simple, right? But it's profound. It can be very, but it's simple, right? And so when you understand the knowledge of you, well, then it's like it's kind of cool, right? And that's why the things like the hero's journeys and all that stuff. It does, like all these movies and stuff, like people watch and stuff, like you get why people are doing what they're doing for their egoic self. It's just that they're just very immature. And so whatever mindset that is, it's a high-licked mind. They're just very grounded in this thing, and they're just goo-goo gaga, like a little animal.
You cut out at there, it's just a high-licked mind, which is sort of like an NPC.
Yeah, that's enough. From there, I was pretty much done.
Okay, then there was another question I just wanted to ask you, and it just slipped my mind. So you seem to have, it seems like you avoid your opinion type questions. Like I want to know what Illicit Mind would say at the end of the world. What would, if he had one last comment to say? Because I mean, that is a deep question. And I know if I was put on the spot and be asked that, well, I guess, okay, my final comment, like if I had one thing to say to humanity, this was the last thing I say, and I knew tomorrow everybody was going to hear it. I would say that your own internal thoughts are not your own. You are working against something that wants to degenerate you. Understand that you're working in the face of a demon all the time, and it's internal to you. For the world to be a better place, you may have to act outside of your autopilot. You may have to stand in your power and do what you know is right. I would say that there's maybe some sort of mind virus, that's another way to describe it, that infects the minds of men and women, because either me and Illicit are just these super genius smart guys that see everything.
Though, right?
What was that?
Some average bullshit, bro.
It is. From our perspective.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, from our perspective, it does. And that may give me this idea that I'm super smart or something. And maybe I am. I don't know.
You are. It's like these words. Like it's like the very fact, because you have to say this because it is you. We are all that. But it's like I hate that I have to. It's just we have to like be. It's a law of duality. So when you say that because it's the truth, I have to just be that devil's advocate, and poke your ass and be like, well, just because it's like with anything up, there's a down, and so it's not balanced. And so if worst part, we're saying worst part, then they're clearly that's concerning. And so like how you said, we always think are very simple concepts. This is a Dookie board around party. That's it. What if that is truthful, that this isn't it clearly is a Dookie board, then it's like, why are we propagating this? So that would be my final statement. So the final statement thing is cool, of course, but it's like we have had plenty of final statements with all the things that you have done, and that all these other people that are in this, they get it. It's the issue with how can we reach, how can I teach these kids, Eric Cartman, if anyone knows South Park, how can I reach, because these people are very dumb in a certain obvious sense, right? And that's why we're at this, but like in a certain sense, it's very simple what we're saying. Like how you said, this is a conflict realm, another great saying from you, this is a conflict realm, and we get that concept. But do people get that concept? Brother Panic, Bobby Him, I love these two. Like you really this is some hot shit. I just this is mental alchemy, like wizardry. Like you are like a alchemist, right? And I am like all these words. In a sense, you should know in a way you are that, right? Because if you understand what we're saying, this is you have to walk in a certain order. I'll just say it like that.
So, I guess that okay. So I kind of understood what you say. Why perpetuate this reality if this is the only way it's ever going to be? It does seem like a waste of time to have an existence in this reality. So maybe not having kids would be the best thing. But didn't you say earlier that you actually believe that we are capable of making this world a better place?
Yeah.
And you also said we may be a fragment of the whole. So wouldn't the best approach, if it's like this is all that there is, guys, maybe the only best approach is to just make the world a better place? Because we may have to come back to this motherfucker again. Maybe forever, over and over again. Wouldn't the best approach, in your opinion, be to just make the world a better place?
So the question is, you're talking reincarnation, right? So let's put a word to it, very simple, right? And that's the way you articulated it was very well. But essentially, it's reincarnation. And how do we come here? We know the answer. Anyone that doesn't, then you're just not right, an alchemist or we don't know anything, and you're dumb. But you say that you do, so that's very interesting. And I'm very fascinated that I'm around people like you, NPCs. It's just so you do not come back here, right? I do not come back here. Now the concept of I does, but we get the beautiful concept of not self, no self. Who are you, right? Who am I? This. So we get to understand certain things, and I'll just say it like that. You're describing reincarnation, and we know what that is, and it's not you or I coming back, but in a sense, it's the spirit of a certain person, but it's not that visceral sense. And we get these concepts. People just like to you're asking great questions, because if someone's listening to something like this, truthfully, this is life-changing shit.
Truthfully, I see what you're saying now. I see what you're saying. So you're saying it's not you. So if I come back to this reality, it's not Chris coming back. Chris is already gone. It's an essence that powered Chris's body the last time around. So it's not me coming back. It's a thing coming back. And we could call that thing energy essence. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we get that part. Right.
Okay, that is what... Okay, I see what you're saying. So it ain't you that's coming back anyways, right? Because it's... You is already gone. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Come and go. We get that part, right? Jeez.
So do you think that essence has a memory?
I mean, so again, what essence are we talking about? The most visceral sense is
the thing that powers us.
What's that?
Whatever powers us.
It's semen. Okay, that's the spirit, the Holy Ghost. Okay, so we like to say, oh, it's the spirit ghost. What can we really brute say? It's the semen.
There's some sort of electrical energy too, right? Because the heart is just
right,
a
but
piece
how
of
does
meat.
that happen though? How do we get to that electric? That's the negative, very grounded. And how do we get there? Right, we get there through the seminal fluid.
Through the what?
Semen.
Through the semen. So you feel
right? You don't right? Just because we have we get how the process of biology works, right? If the man, if you don't have the key, then you can have how many locks as you want, but that's not
Yeah, I just. Well, the way that I see it is there must be some sort of electrical energy that powers it, because the heart doesn't have to beat. It never has to start beating. But something activates it, something deactivates it, and that's when you're gone. But it's really just a piece of meat, even while it's pumping. But there's some sort of energy that this, for some reason, decides to power it up. Because otherwise it's just going to sit there and not do anything. It's just a piece of meat. It has no consciousness to do anything.
Yeah, and so these are all great points, and I'm glad that we're able to just kind of hash things out. I'm just kind of trying to be from again reverse card, right? Just kind of ground things in a certain way that your everyday. Because again, I feel like I can just explain things in a way that it's like, okay, if someone doesn't understand what this dude is coming about, or you just check my content or anyone allow with you or I, if you don't understand what we're saying, it's very simple. It's just that people are just they don't really.
No, everybody on my channel, I don't know if people from your channel will watch, but most of the people on my channel are super like understanding. They know that they're kind of from my point of view. Like nobody really knows.
That's the confusion. Well, it's like if people really, and everyone, I talk to all these conversations, it's great conversations it's because it's at least fascinating to anyone that, so yeah, everywhere, yes. But there's still, issue going on, right? Conflict around. So we're still like, well, why are we not so having the problem fixed?
Yeah, well, I would say in this point, if you're thinking about people that may misjudge this conversation, then technically you're living through the experience of illusionary people inside your mind. Because in reality, those people may not even exist. Every single person that watches this video may love it and never judge what you say, judge what I say. They won't say, oh, he said something I don't agree with, so he's dumb, or something like that. I think I just unplugged my computer. Hopefully this is still working. It doesn't matter. We may not even have a person that does that. And you're living through that person's ideologies or judgments in your mind. That's happening in your head. That hasn't even happened yet in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead. I was finished.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely, bro. And all it is just like, first off, these conversations don't happen, right? So first off, that's that. This is black screens that we're doing. So that's just very interesting. So that's all that is, first part. So, people are of a certain mentality that isn't this, right? And this is just of a certain level of an awareness that, unfortunately, people just, they may say they know, but they don't, verse, to other people that they care for, that they say they care for. And I'm in this with people. Like, it's tough it's very touchy, right? Clearly. But there's an obvious truth to it. But like with any truth comes with power, like power, responsibility. And so we all have a certain power. And like with whatever thing we're saying we're doing here, we're just not acting accordingly. And I'm in this too, just like anybody. I'm just trying to be real, authentic, and raw, and just, truth, right? And knowledge, and just. And so I don't see it. And so I'm just trying to emulate it. And so
I super appreciate conversations like this. Do you believe me? The other point I kind of want to make is if we analyze that thought just slightly deeper.
Isn't that so funny? Eric Cartman, all these shows. If you watch shows, man, symbology is crazy. And that's what I'm saying. It's at least you can. Like, people are just so. I can have like very interesting conversations with people, and I just really don't a lot of times. But like, it's just at least. Listen, like, I don't know about you, but I'm very, this is for us, if you're listening to this right now, there's an obvious certain level of privilege. Like, we are dispensing to you years of, obviously, like, this is just fascinating. So, of course, I'm just going to continue to, study this certain, mentality. But this is a bunch of jewels and stuff. I mean, we're this type of conversation, just like the other one. I learned something from the prior conversation, and I know I have probably something that, other people may not know. And so it's like this iron sharpens iron thing. And so this is like a bunch of, with analyze, and this is a bunch of mind fucks, and so people are just like, well, what's going on? And so you have questions. Well, I have answers, but the ultimate answer is you don't have the answer, Sway. You don't know nothing, and no one knows no thing. There's no thing here to know. All this something is honestly a true nothingness, because it's always temporary. It's gonna fleet away. People always are chasing just fleeting desires, and they're again that dumb. And so what I'm saying and you're saying is obviously a lot of nothing. If people don't understand that concept of not self, all these just simple things, then again, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, I would to add to that, I would say Sway definitely doesn't have the answers, but he made a couple good songs back in the day.
I mean, if somebody wants to, if you have any mind, right? If you say that you have some type of mind and awareness, I have appreciation to everybody. This is all love. And so, there's no hate in what I just said. That was the love. That was all love, right? Because that was just a funny thing. But there's with anything, there's like a esoteric thing that you can kind of say. And I'm just saying, with Kanye West and all these people, you can, describe these, celebrities and people. It's just I'm just going to end it right there.
Yeah. What's funny is we've sort of all in the truth community, I'll say, have been trained. Well, not just in the truth community. I think all of us have sort of been trained to hate celebrities, haven't we? Like, we used to love them, but now we hate them. Actually, celebrities themselves say nowadays just being a celebrity sucks because everybody just hates you for it.
Right.
And I wonder sometimes, does the voice of God speak to humanity through celebrities, and that's why they've all been demonized? The voice of God, what could I say? The truth that's behind the mind virus. Anytime, I don't know if you've noticed, but anytime a celebrity does come through and say something positive, something fucking bad just seems to end up to happen to them. I actually think that the reality's way more darker than people think. I think like this mind virus, I think is way more powerful than I give it credit for. And I think that at the end of the day, what I'm calling the mind virus may literally be the God of the reality. What do you think about that?
Again, so it's just, I'm just, these are great points that I'm just, saying it from a certain, reverse card angle.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just asking your opinion. Like, I know you don't know, I don't know. I'm just asking your opinion.
What I'm saying is like, for what I'm saying from that response, because these questions are all very great questions that people really, they may say they know, but you don't have these conversations in the way that, you know what I'm saying? And so these are great things that you're saying, and I'm going to say something that is very obvious that should give people the answer for knowledge of self, because I don't have to say something in a certain, but like you should say like just certain facts, and then from there you should get the reality with the picture. So what your question, if you can repeat it again, just so that I'm
Geez, what the hell was the question now? I was focused on what you were saying. I forgot what the question was. Actually, let me switch it up. I'm not going to go back to that question. I would want to ask you, how's your daily life? Like, as a person? Great. Really?
Yeah, it's great. I'm very fortunate. Like I said, it's a privilege to just be on a certain embodiment that's just of a certain privilege, right? So there's always a humility with things. So it's like, you can come in to get to know me, but like, of course, like that's not relevant, right? Just look at whatever.
Oh, dude, for me, that's super relevant because I've been wondering. I always thought that's why I'm asking. I'll just be up front with you. I always thought that truthers all went through hell growing up. Like I thought we were all abused, messed up, mentally damaged, or physically.
No.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because you said love, and it's like, whoa, okay, this is different. This is something new. I haven't seen this.
Always love. Truth should be love. Truth should be love. That is the component of thought and emotion. That's love. So it's not just thought, facts over feelings. No, it's, wholeness, oneness. This is all very simple. It's just people are literally dumb, and that's not saying much to them, but the word of their egos, and so yada, 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 and then all these words. But it's very simple, right?
Yeah, these fucking dumbass motherfuckers, bro. Honestly, I wish we didn't have to share the same oxygen with these old stupid ass, fucking walking ass zombies, mouth breathing, knuckle dragging fucking monkeys, dude. I just don't understand it. It's like, okay, I kind of want to go back to
like we said, again, very simple concepts. I just try to go back to just certain references from what I come to listen to. It's just simple concepts. You can say like there's three types of people, there's three types of dimensions, like minds, and people are on the terraform. That's what they want. They're on this, material base. This is all they care about, and so that's what you're going to cultivate, and that's what your spirit, So this is all. It all makes sense. It's just if people don't understand it, then that's on you. Like if you want help or something, then watch these videos. This is very simple. It's just if you repeat it, like all this is like. If you read some ancient text, like you can just read like one line, and you have to read it for like fucking hours. If you just meditate on just a certain truth, like all this is very profound. But again, truth is simple. Truth can be profound, and so it's just people again are dumb, but it's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, people are definitely. Well, I would say a lot of them are either dumb or have some sort of mental deficiency.
I am so sorry. Can I bring a certain element to the discussion?
Yeah, anything.
All right, let me say something. I hate to say this, and I hate to say the word hate. Gotcha. No, you get I even just said that like that, right? But it's not. It's all love, right? So some of these word language BS. Don't get so caught up in the language, right? And that's what I'm kind of going towards right now. So what I'm saying is, guys, if you don't understand what I'm saying, but you like to say you're a truther. Okay, so truther, okay? This truth community. This is, I'm just going to say the truth community as a statement, whatever truth community that we like to say is the truth community, whatever, that's great. That's good that it's there to a certain extent, right? Love, compassion, truth. Let's try to do that. Great. Okay, well, I'm just going to say something and there should be an obvious, like, okay, I get where he's coming from. Yeah, I'm technically in this truth community, but yeah, like I can see it for what it kind of is. And like how you were talking about with, the other prior guy, one with few, there's a certain shadiness with it, and I'll just say it like that.
Yeah, dude, I actually have a way different opinion on the truth. To me, if you're exposing corruption in politics, you're a part of the truth community to me. If you're exposing truth anywhere, it doesn't have to be we're in a mind trap, archon, soul fucking, some complex, deep thought. Like, if you're exposing truth to me, you're a part of the truth community. So even you could technically say Russell Brand's a part of the truth community. Maybe, I don't know what people say that he's a puppet, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I think all these people, I think that people in the truth community are very judgmental. It's like, well, they're not on our level, therefore they're not in the real truth community. Let's separate them. It's like, man, fuck all the They're searching for the truth. It may be on a level 1 or 2, not on a level 157, but they're still a truth seeker. To me, all truth seekers are a part of the truth community. Even if it's on a low level, even if it's exposing child trafficking, you're in the truth community to me.
What do you think I'm going to say back?
I have no idea. You're a very unpredictable type of person, if I'm being completely honest.
I completely, that's what I'm saying, but like, that is a truthful answer, right? But like, what I'm going to say back is something where you're going to go, yeah, I get that, but like, so what I'm saying is, guys, very simple, right? Like, this is homework, right? Life is a test and obvious, and like, it's school, well, okay, you guys don't understand these concepts the right way. You guys just know all the bullshit part of it. You don't know the actual truth. So all I'm saying is, you said a great point. If someone currently is listening to this, I would say right now, okay, on the current, like the playback, because if you can post this online, the playback, what you just said, listen to that, and then listen to what I said before, what Chris said from that great segment he just said about how great the truth community is. We still, for the points that you said with one with few, and with the points that I said, still on like an opposing end, right? With this duality game, right? We can like understand the good and the evil with anything, right? Knowledge, right? So we want to say we have an understanding to something, right? We're really not saying much with anything that we're saying, right? So with all the times when I try to say stuff, it's like, oh, he sounds so complicated, but it's really not much. And so I just feel like if you literally see, like you literally write out what we're saying, and you just, okay, what is he? Oh, it just makes sense. You can't really contend against what he's saying. And what saying, so it's all just so, life is very simple, okay? But people like to complicate things, and so that's what this civilization and all this, tongue-in-cheek shit. And so that's where we are today. But this is all very simple. And so, yes, the truth community is great, and that's how I came to be where I am today. I'm in it, right? This is all the same. So it's like we can throw shade. It's just all throwing shade on the world in a certain sense, right? I'm in the world, but not of the world. And the truth community looks to embody that however best they can. For whoever's in that, we're all in that. If you're listening to this, you are in that. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I would say that's actually a great example for my argument that voice or thing that makes us judgmental is the mind virus. Think about it. Don't you, as a truther, if you're observing this video, don't you actually love everybody that's exposed to truth, no matter what level it is on? But then this sort of voice comes around and goes, well, they're not a real truther because that voice is not you. It's literally creating hate between you and people like you, for Christ's sakes. That's why I would... either there's a mind virus or the human meat monkey thing is so fucking stupid that the best its subconscious can ever come up with is some dumb shit to say.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, like you're on everything we're saying is on the point. Like this is jewels that we're dropping for people. If people want to pick it up, go ahead. But people don't. Going and leading a horse to the water, and he has to drink drink Mick Jenkins. Shout out to Mick Jenkins. He has an album coming out. I can give a lot of shout outs because again, the truth community comes in many different fashions. I always say these simple concepts like the universe, how this is a song. Shout out to my brother Panic. All these lecturers, man. If you're around these things, man, you are a cool ass person, man. You have a certain rhythm and beats of just who you are that I fucks with anyone. The peace dealer, all these people that have helped. You're like, listen, SQS, Y solace. Like, I just, we need to, just keep saying these days, because like people just need to this is like I would say, is this school? Well, yeah, you have to like have an awareness. Awareness is like, I just want to get so caught up. What I'm saying is you have to like kind of look at certain things and listen to what people have to say about the certain things and what you have to say. And if you understand like the truth of things, right, then it's very simple. But I think then you have to act accordingly, and most people aren't, and that's that's on them.
Dude, I did learn so far. I learned from this conversation. Why am I judging the unawakened? Because
really
they're
not.
incapable of awakening.
You're not judging, and you know that, right? But you get why you're like thinking like that. But you're not thinking like, let's just don't get so caught up in the words, right? And you're just like you're saying these words because this is for the audience, right? This is not for us. We're good. This is for them. So it's like, listen to like obvious shit. If you get this obvious shit, then again, you kind of have to act in a certain fashion, like Beyonce, and get information. Okay, well, yeah, ladies, they do control the world. Like, how to get listen to this is like some hot shit. If people understand what we're saying, all I'm saying is, hey, ladies, okay, then you have to kind of get information in a certain sense. And again, with the whole anti-natalism, it's just obvious in a certain sense. And so it's just, we got to kind of say these obvious terminologies of philosophies. It's like, if you don't understand the points of that, I learned this through SQS, and this is another shout out. If he does hear this, I appreciate you, my guy, because you made me, where I just feel like I'm just a 2.0 of it, and so I would not say, listen to me, listen, because that's all these shout outs, right? Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, all these people, right? We're all the same essence, right? And we know this is not the true home. And we're trying to, let people know that, but we can still have an enjoyable time here. But just people are just so caught up in the sauce of the physical sense. And with any of these different concepts, Kabbalah, Hermeticism, all these different animism, all these things, all these isms. Well, the thing is to let you know that it's covered with a lot of bullshit. But you should see the truth in any of these concepts, with your consciousness. If you want to see a Christ, all these is fucking dumb. But you're good. I'm good. I'm just trying to make sure and help out and love for my other people. And this is it's really not doing anything. We can look together and make the world a better place. And the conversation we had with one of you, it had a lot of different points of why how that's very easily possible, but again, people are just dumb. But at the end of the day, we know we're okay, right? There's an inner peace, tranquility.
Now there is, yeah, absolutely.
And so it's just I'm literally the light in the room. I've always been that person, just with my smile and everything. And so I know people know what I'm saying is it's so authentic and real and true that they're just wow, how come I didn't know that? And that's where I am. How come you didn't know? And just the very fact that my nickname, like I said, is Uno, and how all these phonics, do you know? Well, I know, right? But do you know, guys? So I'm asking you guys, whoever, I'm going to be sending this, my different, because again, people like to say just people are dumb, right? In a sense, and I am too, because I'm here with you. And so I'm just well, then let's try to kind of help each other out, and that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, now this is probably going to be a more complicated, deeper type of question, but I'm just curious because you brought up Kanye West a couple times. I'm assuming you listen to hip hop. Who do you think's the best rapper that ever lived?
Audience, whoever's listening to this, you can have your own artist. Go ahead. Whoever I look to say.
Everybody's got their own. Well, who's illicit?
Right. I'm just giving a shout out. Essentially, I'm just trying to feed one of my lions. Respect to my lions, and we all have our certain people. I can name, and I look to hopefully name a few, but it's just all this is obviously subjective. But you should see the certain artwork, right? So this is artists, right? So art, right? This is all art, right? So it's there's a style to this, and for me and how I came here with being able to say this shit, very obviously and just concretely to people. And so if you understand what I'm saying, again, you have to walk in a certain fashion. If you're not going to walk in a certain fashion, people like to say, oh, I had to open my third eye. Go to Y Solace right now. Go to Y Solace and look up how to open up your third eye and to see how much of the bullshit that you guys don't even understand that is caught up in lies. Y Solace is a great guy. If anything, that's a rapper, right? He does rap. So that's my shout out. But I'll say also Mick Jenkins, yeah, Kanye West, But if you rap, if you're an artist, this is wizardry, this is sorcery, but it's a good thing. Don't get so caught up in the black magic, dark magic. No, this is the true light that we're emulating out. And all I'm saying is
Mick
that
Jenkins, didn't he did a song called P's and Q's, didn't he? He's a Chicago
guy. Yeah, no, Mick Jenkins, man, listen, we are really all good. Jesus Christ. People get just so caught up in these terms, man. People are just so, it's crazy. But yeah, we're all Jesus Christ, right? Because we know we will get sacrificed, right? We are the living sacrifice. Shout out to my boy Tut and all these, niggas, man. Because we niggas, we get it. There's a reason why I'm saying black men. We get the point. We get how, again, this negative energy and how we're, because we're black, right? So listen, the very fact of the neuromelanin, listen, all this is very deep. And again, if you want to know more about it, I always said my email and stuff, like, I say, listen, guys, you can talk more about it, but you should get the point. And I say plenty of different teachers, and it's just a certain knowledge that you should all know. It's very simple, and so you should be very have a lot of accord and honor and just righteous in your own. People are just so lame, and I am too. But people are lamer, and I don't think that's a lot saying that. But people can get in their ego, and so we like to say this judgment thing. We're not judging. We're just trying to be as pure as we can to get the point across. It can get perceived as judgment with whatever we're saying here, but it's not. It's just hardcore facts, right? If people want facts, okay, right, this is facts that we're saying, all this is facts, right? Facts over feelings. Well, this is technically facts over feelings, but it's technically also feelings over facts, right? It's just like this water, the primordial water. This is the emotions, right? This is the source energy, and y'all niggas just are confused and are lost in the sauce. People just fucking with all these truth stuff, are so caught up in a specific concept. Cosmology, the Big Bang, or it's all knowledge of yourself. So if you get that part, then don't get so caught up in a fucking book of a certain ideology of a certain person that said a certain. It's people are just so out in it there.
Yeah, they are kind of unbearable some days. I honestly believe that the differences in humanity, like the people you're talking about, exist just to create internal conflict. Because it bothers us that they're so unawakened. It bothers us that they're so fucking stupid. It bothers us that they can't see it. It just bothers us, really. We can say whatever, but the final result is it bothers us. I'd say the key is to not allow these things made to bother you. And it's very difficult because you come pre-programmed and prescripted for these things to fucking bother the shit out of you. It's the most bothering thing that could ever be created in reality. Imagine being in a realm, where you see something.
I like to get so caught up in
You cut out illicit.
It has to be understanding, we're in physical form, right? So let's talk more in a visceral sense. And so people are just, again, the bodily thing is just dumb, okay? Because with the body, it's a time clock, okay? All right, it's going to be coming and going, right? We're all in a constant change of, flux, right? Nothing, you can't just pinpoint a picture of yourself, right? So who are you, right? You don't know you, right? And so, people are just, they don't understand, right? They don't really honestly have a understanding to these simple things, right? Again, if you're listening to this, this is simple, right? Anyone listening to this, okay, right? Because I just always feel like I'm just talking to myself, and I know I always know I'm just talking a lot, but I know it's not a lot that I'm saying. So I'm just saying here, how you kind of get lost in the sauce. People are that, and so with the whole ship and the Ark of Noah and all this other stuff and the covenant, it's so deep. It just goes back to you and all this stuff, but you need to have balance. So if you have balance, all this is just very simple. People they have just a monkey mind, and that's okay. So if you want to say a certain mind virus, well, it goes back to the animal, right? It's related back to something concrete. It goes back to that animal self. We know there's a self to that form, right? That's the body, this physical, whatever the fuck, this material, matter, mother. So that this is a bit unfortunate, and so we're just describing life for what it is. This is calling a spade for what it is. This is not much, real recognized real, and the truth really is explaining nothing, right? Because nothing is honestly the truth, right? Because anything really is just ultimately nothing, and there's really nothing here to really do, and anyone that looks to say they're doing something here, well, it's fleeting, it's temporary, it's a chasing desire that you're doing always, ever, now, drowning shit that you're doing here. Go ahead, but enjoy it for what it's worth. Don't look to prolong it. It's an inevitable losing cause. The law of entropy. We get these physics stuff. It's not sexist. This you can say physics, but it's still a certain emotional thing to it. But again, people just get so caught up in the words that I can't even. I'm not saying much. But you have to say, again, anyone here, you should honestly have some type of platform. You either talk about this with some set of your own community or anything, a YouTube channel, some type of blog. You should be doing something out there. If you're not, you need to look at yourself, because this is a concern. There's no time for just sitting on your ass how we do. You need to be talking to other people around, because people don't do this, right? And that's why I'm this is all a conflict, right? This is a concern. And so if you have a level of concern, right, that's Mother Nature. Mother Nature will always have a level of concern for something and strive to do something better. This is simple concepts. Well, then, okay, then Do you know how much of a concern it really is? And people don't, and so they're just lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So do you think that it's ever going to be possible that humanity will wake up and become conscious?
So in terms of my answer to that, I can say yes, but like I obviously don't have quote unquote the whole ultimate control clearly. So for me to have to be the one to answer that question, going down the rabbit hole, like this is all kind of sick. Don't fucking put somebody to have to answer this fucking question where, oh, listen to Uno, this guy's really cool, but yeah, I kind of am obviously. Like I let me get in my ego real quick, but I'm just saying, like, if you're now coming to now get this type of answer from me, then you need to, this is why I get why people pay. Why Solace, these other people, Brother Panda, these classes, lectures. Yeah, because you need to live here, right? Just like all these other people. You need to have self-worth and, because you're in this shit. So yeah, and so this, you go, I can say something, but if you want a more visceral answer, no, pay me. Fuck out of here. And I'm not saying that to you, but you get my point. That's just to all this in and of itself.
Yeah, actually, I think I don't think it's ego if we think we're cool. This is something I mentioned recently. Is we're actually super cool if what I believe is true, and I understand that it's beliefs. I don't know. I just formulate beliefs based on information gathered so far. So
and that's the issue, right? So with these concepts, I hate to break you right there, but I'm just going to say something very brief, hopefully, right? Because I know I talk out of my brain always. I'm sorry. So with the word belief, right? Okay, it's not just with the word belief, right? This phonics etymology, it already has the word lie, right? So we get like with a belief, there's a certain mascade that like with it's kind of like a lie is not. It's obviously bad in the obvious sense, but like you kind of have to obviously live in a certain lie. People say like what is it? The concept people say you have to like lie until what's the saying people say with you have to fake it till you make it. We get these sayings, right? But then you're saying you're lying to yourself, right? So again, and of work, people listen to, I just think I have a lot of hot videos, but again, I always shout out my teachers, right? I got to shout out, this is all humble, honor, respect, why Solace, Brother Payday, Bobby Hit, and the people already know these concepts, many of them that are listening to this. I just want to stage to people that don't, because again, if you don't already know these people that are viscerally here, speaking this level of just true essence of just, actual, hot shit and just life, onto life, then, if you don't even know these people, then again, you're already, and so it's not even like judgment, it's just like, listen, it's like you said, information. So if you have more information, then yeah, it's still a belief, but it's still within a lot of fucking information. So you have your own beliefs and I do too. So like if we're gonna entertain my own like question and answers with my own physical self and my way that I can look to articulate it, if you're head out asking like, let me jot this down and see what this guy has to say. If you're doing that right now, I understand you. But if you don't see how that's just a subordinate, like I'm your God, right? So with these concepts of Kanye and all this shit, because yeah, it does it's deep, so I'll just leave it at that. But listen, you need to answer that right now. I'm not saying this to you, Chris, right? I'm just saying this to everyone listening. My own self, like replay this back. You need to answer that for your own self, because if this is all, in a sense, a form of a belief, then your belief should obviously have an informational system. Well, what's your informational system, right? Like if this is a test, like y'all niggas say, well, what are your fucking answers, right? What are you saying? And I know what I'm saying. It's not really saying much, right? And we all say this. So the simple concepts, like I root my channel around anti-natalism. Listen, I'm gonna have a great life. I'm not gonna propagate, prolong. Like, shout out to SQS with the reincarnation, rebirth. That's a great video. To all these simple, very concepts that people get muddied in the waters. Just watch a video like that. After this, if someone's listening, SQS on reincarnation. All these simple concepts, misconceptions. All niggas like you and I. Here, guys, the word nigga. But this is just a certain melanin energy, right? So all I'm saying is that there's a certain, what can I say, level of just, I don't want to say asking questions, but there's a certain level of just understanding. And so from there, when you come across something, like if you come across this type of video, again, you kind of have to act accordingly. That's all I'm saying. Something as simple as just voting, you can vote, but if you don't understand why something that's, somebody doesn't want to vote for something that's just obviously really a form of slavery, as like, electoral college system through the way of the government for the way, we have it today. Something as simple as that. If you have a judgment onto somebody that doesn't want to or does, and the vice versa, whatever happens, right? Then look at your own stuff, because that's very concerning. Like the ultimate vote is the way of reincarnation, right? Everyone's, what does that mean? If you don't know what that means, then that's on you. There's been plenty of people that have, touched on this topic, but like people get so caught up in these terms that they're dumb. They're hyped. They don't understand concepts. And reincarnation is by the way of sperm and egg, so that's procreation. I don't know why I would put myself here. At the very least, I would have to be, seeing a lot of better fruit for my fellow man. And then from there, it's like, why don't I then adopt or foster? So people are, again, with the egoic. And so there's a certain sickness to the mentality of the Hylic mind.
Yeah, I think that the Hylics, seriously, I just think that they're created to fucking piss us off. What is the meaning or point of them? If all they are is these drones that don't even
bring one onto the show. Ask them, right? Don't ask me, right? Bring one, right? Talk to somebody in your community, right? Like, let's right, have a conversation.
Dude, are you kidding me? They'd be like, I'm not fake, I'm real.
Yeah, right? Just, we can do this, right? We have power in a certain, right?
Well, I honestly, probably should make a YouTube video where I talk to Helix or whatever. That would be an interesting series. Like, bring them on.
I mean, we do
like, you know that you're an empty, soulless vessel, right? And just see them go, no, I'm a real person. And I'll go, okay, tell me the first deep thought that enters your mind. And they'll just sit there, and their brain will freeze up and nothing will ever come out of them. And I'll say, see everybody, a Helix in real time. Is that what you're saying? What's a Helix? Where does that come from? Helix. I've seen that word in the comments.
Hylic. I think it's pronounced Hylic.
Oh, Hylic.
It's from Gnosticism. Gnosis, like you said, with the whole mind virus. Well, again, there's technically you can just break it down. In a way, you can just understand how, in a sense, there's three types of minds in terms of And so Hylic is like the most just based, superficial. And that's what's the most here, obviously. And that all should make sense, very scientific and just psychology, all this just, metaphysics, just there. And so that's what most people are. And
I think there's only two, though. Because they say I think there's only two, because they say there's the mind that will never see it, the mind that can see it, and the mind that just knows. I'm still looking for these motherfuckers that just know. I think we're all in the process of the second mind. I don't think there's anybody in the third mind.
Well, all I'm saying is, I'm just saying I've watched videos, I've seen, different references, so I can give you a link. All I'm saying is, there's, documentation from, Gnosticism where they say there's three minds. And there's, again, I should see it's something with the temporal, something like that, and there's, the mystic, and then there's the Hylic. And so people are mostly the Hylic. And so it's just very simple concepts. You can feel one way or the other, getting your ego and getting your feelings, how people like Ben Shapiro, people like to say things, and people like to just try to one-up you. Listen, we're all in this Hylic mind, but people are, it's like how we play video games, when you mentioned Grand Theft Auto, and you have a certain a bar, and people have different levels. And for a Hylic mind, for that Hylic perk, it's almost 100% essentially for most people. And people like you and I is probably just a certain very limited marginal fraction, right? We're more of a higher mind, clearly, right? And so there's three different types of minds, and they do it, their job in looking to exemplify it through human, English language, through this, Gnosticism. Again, just look it up through minds. You get the point through it, right? And so we're just.
So would you say you're a Gnostic?
Now create an NPC type of thing. These are just words. We get so caught up in the words. It's just all this is just very, very interesting.
Do you identify as a Gnostic?
I'll just leave that to the audience.
Okay, so back to the deeper question earlier. Dude, I'll tell you what I think in order would be Bone Thugs, DMX, Tupac, Big Pun, even though he died after 2 or 3 CDs, and then probably 50 Cent, Eminem after that, I would say. I never got into Kanye, actually. I sort of got into Jay Electronica a little bit, but then he didn't make a CD for 10 years. I was like, oh, that's interesting, but...
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, hip-hop's cool, man. Music, any type of music, this is a universe, man. This is all love. We're just trying to be, there's a melody. Well, sometimes music can be sad, right? And you need that element sometimes because it goes back to the heart, right? You're trying to heal. You're trying to be the redeemer, the nurturer, the feminine aspect. And so with music, right, sometimes with the melody, it can be kind of melancholy and have a certain bittersweet tone to it. But you should understand the message. So yeah, music's great. And yeah, hip-hop, yeah, you're up, da-da-da-da-da. And but yeah, I'm nowadays just not even just a bunch of nature sounds, and you were talking about that too, just a bunch of this, because that's you don't really want to hear a lot of other people's thoughts, and you should appreciate it, but really at bottom, I don't. My music is just singing outside.
Yeah, dude, for me, even music with lyrics and all that, is sort of just a rhythmic sound to me now. I don't identify with lyrics or need them to say good lyrics. To me, it's just something that moves moves me literally. I'll start dancing if I like a song that's on. But
right. It's not emotions. Others, primordial. Yes, there's a source energy, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Wait, so what do you mean by that? There's a source energy
No,
connected
yeah,
to
so
rhythm?
this is what I'm saying. If you want to have further conversations, I can. All I'm saying is we know the answers to this. If you have, and I gave you plenty of references, right? Like these are all just jewels. Learn, like, right? People, if you don't have knowledge of self-search, you don't have.
Yeah, some of the
people,
questions are sort of redundant
right.
for the development of the minds of those watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. I'm not asking because to put you on the spot or anything like that. I'm just asking.
No, I'm just saying, like, we should. It's a great question. Thank you for asking it. But like, we, with the question, there's a quest, hero's journey. Well, do you have that question, knowledge of self for your own self? I do, and you really should. Everyone listening to this at this point should already. So for me to have to now use such words, and already words are covered with lies, BS, plot. Listen, I don't have to say it, right? But thank you for asking the question, right? Because we have to have certain questions. The Karen energy, I had a video, the meaning of life, the purpose that these questions people like to have to say. Well, it's very simple. I have videos already on it, and you do too. We get these concepts, right? So I don't even say it now. So the whole point is, again, it goes back to a nothingness, a principle of nothing. That's why these forms of meditation, it just goes back to just peace, tranquility, whatever that is for you. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So would you say you're on a mission to awaken those?
No.
No.
No, I ain't no, my mission is complete. It's what it's like. What is it? Mick Jenkins, again, great artist. He has an album coming out. Listen, everything is for synchronization, and shout out to Santos. Shout out to all these teachers, like I said, the truth community. But I'll shout out Mick Jenkins. He has an album coming out, what is it, August 18th, The Patience. So it's like, this is a thing that anyone that's listening to this, you should send it to at least a best friend of yours or somebody and see what they have to say, because you are already that. So you can have the conversation if you haven't already with them, right? It's so funny with these words with the etymology, the prefix with con. But again, Mick Jenkins, the artist, he's a deep artist, man. And all these artists is, but I really
oh yeah, he's a genius lyricist. If you actually read the lyrics to P and Q, you'll know why he named that song. Literally every word he used in the whole fucking song was P's and Q's. Yeah. Crazy, very advanced lyrics.
This is what he's talking about. This is the ultimate Christ consciousness that people always want to go. Well, I'm bringing it, and it's funny that people want to say, "Well, I'm black," and it's not the visceral sense. This comes back to the concept of melanin, and if you know concept of yourself, then you get why certain things are what they are.
Fuck yeah, I know everything about that melanin. So. If you grew up in a house of love, and you still sort of see that is actually interesting.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like how people like try to put these images, the saviors. It's like people, because they are such a golden light. They're just this bright, and I am that, right? I can talk all this great shit about myself, but that's not the point. And if you want to have that conversation, I can have that individually with other people. Consultations, how people say all these things. I feel sick. The very fact that I get why people do these things.
But listen, are you from Chicago? You're from Chicago, aren't you?
What?
Are you from Chicago?
No. But I understand the South Side principle. Shit, let's just go back to the pyramid scheme and all this.
Dude, you actually, I don't know if you've ever heard this. I mean, I've watched your videos about 1,000 times. You actually sound a lot like Kanye West, to be honest, when you talk. I'm pretty sure he's from Chicago, which is why I asked. But you have a very similar name.
I have Kanye, all these people. I love everybody, bro. But like, I'm just saying certain names for like, if anyone like has bias with those people, then if you buy with me, then like we're all saying the same stuff. And so when you go back to any, like, how we always say, go back and watch like kids shows, Rugrats, well, go back and listen to the old, songs that you listen to. Everything is just so, the symbolism with everything is just so, and so you should know that knowledge already for yourself. All this is just a bunch of mind fuckery. And this is just like, we're literally, I hate to be like this visceral, but like we're, mind fucking each other, right? And so it's like, it's an ultimate orgasm, this nirvana heavenly state. Well, I know I'm there, and so I'm trying to get y'all niggas to have a higher level of awareness of the concept of you. And so it's like, that's why people can gravitate to what we're saying, but they don't have that concept of self or the no self principle. It's like, people are just dumb. But again, it goes very simple concepts with the music, because it can get portrayed in that element, and it does time and time again. And so, I posted similar, tracks like this. If anyone likes hip hop, again, I always just say people like, Mick Jenkins, Kanye, people can say I talk with him, whatever. But you should look at the things that their artists, they say certain words. They are wizards, bro. Like everyone likes like mystics. We're all that, but some people have higher tendencies. And I kind of, I know I don't want to toot my own horn, but you know, I think I'm humble enough to say that I do, because I'm kind of saying all this right now to people, even though it's a very minute sense, but it's something. And you guys have that too, right? You're Chris, you're doing it. So I am like trying to tell people, you should post this. Like, I'm nobody, right? I just like people, when somebody wants to say something against, but like I just, can I keep going? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I love how you do those comment reply stuff, because like, again, if you want to say something against us, go ahead. If you want to judge what we're saying, cast a stone against, go ahead. But like, at all that you're doing this, at all, you're a cuck, all right? You're a cuck in an obvious sense. This is a subordinate, conflict realm that you like to say, right? A do keyboard realm. If you're not able to understand these now you're like trying to say, oh, well, at this one time span, at this one moment, you didn't mix. If you're coming from that angle, bro, okay, cool. Listen, this is the truth. We get the truth. And listen, I'm just trying to help other people out. I know I'm good. Again, there was a James Baldwin, Mick Jenkins, I forgot, but the end of one of his tracks, The Waters, just anyone, if you like hip hop, right? Just listen to the album up and down. Mick Jenkins, The Waters, very, very deep symbolism, esoteric, all that. It's just alchemy, really.
Yeah, I'm sure he's, I know from what I've seen, he's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely go. I apologize. One more, all right, you'll go. But I'm just saying, yeah, all those artists, they're deep. They are deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would go as far as saying you're deep. So even if you listen to, I don't know, just any record random, Led Zeppelin, let's say, if you listened to it and read the lyrics, you would find symbolism, deep meaning. I think that the observer makes deep what is deep. Because
yep, and that's Christ consciousness. That's the unseen awareness. Yep, that's the
that's the halo above the head, the glowing yellow circle.
I don't try to. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, you're good. I think that there's a lot of depictions. I always wondered, how would one of us be depicted if we were in a painting? And it always would depict the.
I would love for somebody to paint myself. I think I'm a pretty handsome guy, and I don't want to. But like we can try to, So hey, I would love. Hey, I have my email. Somebody, what is it? Pay me on. I have my PayPal link. Hey, I would love to have like a portrait. I hang it up. I don't want to get so egoic, but yeah, we are like a video game. Like you should like appreciate again this hero's journey. Like we're all trying to be like heroes in a sense, but like you're ultimately not doing anything. You're just trying to quote unquote right save yourself, and like like the concept of that, right? So you're good. I'm good, and so it's like wow, people are so lost in the sauce and are bewildered creatures, and so it's just like well, let me try to be a light unto them. This whole Jesus concept, right? And then now kind of quote unquote save them, but it's them understanding for themselves, right? So if you understand, it's not coming to me or you and say, oh, we don't really agree. Well, it's not agreeing. This is the reality of things. We are calling things for what it is. If you don't agree, that's on you. This is not an agenda. This is not this, that, and the fourth. This is just the reality to you. And like you said, yeah, I can be a bit deeper for other, because yeah, it does go back to the observer. And so I still give credit to the artist though, because you have to bear witness to something, right? So there's still God in them, right? Because they have to shine a certain light. So to anybody, like the artists or any teachers, like we've already mentioned, again, people need to do the homework first off, right? So this is all homework for anyone listening to this. If I said a concept or word, or back and forth, right, that you don't know, you already need to now, right, knowledge yourself, know more about yourself, because those people that I mentioned all go back to that. And so, yeah, I'll just stop there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that that's absolutely true, because when, like I said earlier, when the truth is revealed to you, it's revealed to you internally. You already knew, oh, well, that's the truth. You could say it, well, that rings true to me. But you already knew the truth. So actually you're combating against a either prescripted, some people could say MK Ultra mind. So I would say mind is the enemy, not your ability to think clearly. That's your friend. Logic, these are all your friends. But I would say that the automated mind is the enemy.
Yeah, you can say that, and we know with, again, I just, try to reference, things from what I've learned and coming to meditate, reflect all these, things. And again, we can go to the gnosis, 3 types of minds. So
there's a question I would like to ask you, actually, Alyssa. I'm sorry.
It's not saying much, but I agree, yes.
Yeah, so you meditate. So do you...
What does that mean, right? I want people that are hearing this right now, ask yourself, do you meditate? And if you don't, then do it. But in an obvious sense, I can say I don't meditate.
Oh, you don't meditate.
So in terms of this whole concept of meditation, is very interesting, and I'm just going to end it there. Listen, go and watch again. Shout out plenty of people. SQS, Why Solace, Brother Pan, Bob, listen to what they say about me. Don't who's me, right? But yeah, so it's like, it's really not.
But what did they say? So instead of people searching them out, you're here now. You're the source of information. What did they say?
No, I'm not. It's not me. I'm not here to say, I just, people, this is just another video that people are watching and spending time doing, right? So if you have compelling nature to care about things that are of this essence, then you can, you should already have a certain basis to that understanding. You can just learn more about it. And so, it's just, I thank you. Like, this is a great back and forth. Like, I think, again, I'm going to be trying to share this to people because, I'm internalizing all this to myself. This is all just like self-regulation, and so I'm just saying people should be answering these questions for yourself. This is like is this a school? Well, again, if you're saying in this form that this is the way, then this is like sick school. Like, right, the very fact we have to learn this is disciplinary or born at Saturn, and this is not good, right? So we have to expand, right, with the reverse, the Jupiter, and so these concepts with the 7L Elohim.
I would also like to add that the realm that we do see as evil and dark and bad, I would say the people on my channel and maybe Illicit's channel, what we do see as horrible and evil may not be so bad if it got us to see what we truly are, if it detached us from being a sort of meat monkey creature. This still could be a school. Again, it would be a sort of sadistic, weird, bizarre,
right, the whole I hate to hate, right? Always say the word. No, all I'm saying is, right, we can get so caught up and hyper fixated on now this super physical, concrete term of a school, but like we get it that it's not just a word, right? We create words. That's first man. So we get that this mind is not necessarily man, right? So if we want to get caught up in words now, this is why with all these words, like watch anyone listening to this part, just watch the video I made of anti-natalism and suffering. It's just very simple things. If you say like there's not suffering in evolving around in some parts of what your existence is, you guys were just all blind to ourselves, and so we get so caught up in these terms, like, and so I'm just I'm gonna end it like that. Like, people are just blind as hell.
Yeah, so you're saying most people get caught up in terms, and
listen. Yes, Chris, there's nothing to do here. Essentially, just do whatever the hell you can do, like Hodges, do whatever the fuck you want to do, do whatever, thing that but there should be an order, right? There should be an understanding, like there should be an obvious science, right? People like to say, like, essentially they're smart, right? Okay, well, I don't want to say I'm the smartest person because I'm not.
You cut out
plenty of other, right? But like, it's like, okay,
then act accordingly. You speaking, but I don't hear anything.
Oh, you don't hear anything?
Oh, now I do. You're working again.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, if we're saying we're good people, we're smart, we're all these fuzzy things, I'm not even saying I'm any of that more so than anybody. I'm just saying, then you should understand the points of what I'm saying. And if you don't understand that, I already gave plenty of references. You're a great person. I am too. There's plenty of just the mentality. You should get the point, right? There's a point. It's like a sun thing. Like, what the sun energy. There's a dot. There's an energy. There's a source thing. There's a oneness. My name is nickname Uno, right? So it's all very funny, the synchronicity. But if you don't understand that wholeness, then that's on you, bro. It's not on me. So that's Now, I'm not saying that to you. You get my point. I'm trying to be as like hardcore to people, and it's not really much, but I know it's much to somebody. It's for whoever has the heart, right? The healing component.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're ultimately trying to send out love, then.
Right, but the truth can hurt. Like we said, Gnosis, one of the first videos that I watched when I was more like being able to be my own, teacher in a sense, but it's like, what is these concepts? But all I'm saying is reference SQS. He had a video, Gnosis, the piercing truth, because it's going to hurt sometimes, but there's certain things, he had like these concepts of like a Karen. I have these videos, because someone's just coming from my channel. I'm going to maybe post this on my channel too, because this is something that needs to get out more. It's not much being said, but if you understand what we're saying, then you should feel compelled to really touch people around you, is my whole point. Now, I'm trying to push myself and others. Like, we are really hiding, I get like, I'm an introvert, but like my people around me should really know my true authentic self. And I'm just trying to express that more, and we should all look to do that more. I know we're all embodying some type of lie, and so you should look to embody the most truth that you can, right? And I'm not saying I'm the end all be all per se, but I know I'm doing more of that than I can say that humbly. Most people here.
Yeah, that's sort of I guess you could say the path I'm on, or stream of thought that I'm on now, is sort of reminding everybody what they are. Like, remember what you are. Like, remember when you look in the mirror, the motherfucker that's looking back at you, what that guy or gal has been through. Realize how strong you are. Realize you were put into a mind trap that's built that 99.9% of them fail at it, and you passed. Remember what you are. You're literally pre-programmed to fail at a test you were forced into to fail at, and it's observably, and you still see it.
Like, you should be like, damn, I like kind of know, like, I'm good, right? And so, yeah, like, you should be happy at the end of the day, right? This is just a trip. Enjoy it for what it's worth and go back home. Bye. Right? Turn off the fucking console, right? All this shit, right?
And
so,
Jerome, unfortunately, sort of is do what thou wilt.
There's nothing already here.
What was that?
I say, go, embrace nothingness, because there's ultimately nothing, and again, there's nothing here, because the fleeting moment is temporary. The flux, permeation that is this physical sense. There's essentially nothing, right? The infinity thing, well, it's an illusion, right? Like we say, well, so there's really nothing going on like we're doing. And I'm enjoying myself, and I hope you guys are too, but like, if you're not like around this type of mentality, I just think like you're kind of lame in a certain sense, and I am too, right? It's like, you should be Uno, right? Reverse card. You should be able to throw what you're saying back to yourself. And so you should be, I'm talking a lot of shit, right? But it's talking a lot of shit in a certain sense back to you. And so it's like, if you're hardcore, right? Iron sharpens iron with like who the fuck you are, then like, you're a cool person, and I'm a cool person, and most people are just not really cool, right? They're caught up in this, this other energy that's not cool, what, fire, hell, I don't know, right? But it's just, people are lame, and I am too, but like, you get my point. I just try to be humble, right? Because I don't want people to be like, oh, because that's why like, you see some, with any of these teachers, if you go to them, rightfully so, they have to like defend themselves. It's because there's a bunch of dumb energy people. I mean, there's like, I hate to say this reference, but it's just, there's most people right now talking about whatever, I don't want to reference the name, but like, there's just dumb conversations happening right now instead of this, right? And so it's just like, wow, so that's what we're dealing with, right? And that's for most people. So that's why people like Brother Panic Wise, they have to say it and call out such bullshit, whenever they have their lectures and stuff, because there's so much dumb people around this world, even here. And I'm part of that too, in a certain sense. So it's just trying to be humble. You have to have humility. If anything, this is all just humility. The Redeemer comes with humility. Humility, all these concepts of repent, all this stuff, you should it's kind of redoing, right? So it's reversing this current process. And that's what I've learned. That's the ultimate thing to do, is reverse the natural coil. And people are not doing that. And so that's on them. That's not on me.
Okay, so Alyssa, tell me real quick, what would you say, because this is first I'm going to tell you a quick story of why I'm asking you the question. I'm going to ask you a very difficult question that I don't know the answer to either. But something I struggle with is, even though I'm a truther and I kind of always reveal negativity, I still love people and I still want to help people. And a lot of people in the truth community are suicidal. And I struggle to tell them, especially them, because of their level of consciousness, good news, to sway them away. And maybe I'm wrong for even doing that. Maybe they're supposed to watch. I don't know, but I know it's ingrained in me to want to help them.
Is it your job?
No, it's not my job. I feel like I'm obligated to. Maybe it is my job. I don't know. I'm driven by goodness. Maybe that is why I came here. I don't know, but it feels like it's my job, I would say.
Okay. So, I mean, do you want to become like a psychologist, psychiatrist? Do you believe in this conventional, the synthetic, like what, like, are you, like, how far are you going out with this, trying to help people?
Well, the question that I was asking you is, what would you say to one of them if they said, yeah, I'm glad you're good, Illicit, but I'm not good, brother. I'm struggling. What would I do to get good?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I feel for them. I feel for them. That's all. I don't have the answers, right? They wouldn't come to me, right? They don't, right? So I'm fortunate that it's just all unfortunate in that sense. But like, I don't, right? They don't come out. So I get it, but I don't have the answers, and they know that. So it's just. It's like, don't come to me, right? This is not my job. This is not my, profession. So it's just, I can say something,
but you did it. Limited, You did it though. So how did you do it?
I don't have any, right? I gave it enough. It's just knowledge of self, right? And so if people just do that, then it's not me. You can lead them to, we all give plenty, and I just try to give certain, because this is all, people like to say, oh, you have to do reading ancient. I have not done much, okay? But I know I have more knowledge than most people. And so if you at least just go to the references that I pinpointed, that you know, just, and I know most listening to this are already in the know, but I'm just trying, if we're trying to be compelled and like we're saying, help the, people that need the help now, that have these issues, then of course, then, we need a, I don't know. I'm just saying that we can do a lot more. The world can be a better place. And we know this, but certainly if you're in this, the rabbit hole, and you see how the certain functions and the inefficiencies with society and the economy and all this, the world can be a better place. And that's why with this whole suicidal stuff, these people, they have a brunt end of the stick. And so they get, with their whole genetic determinism and all this stuff, they get, geared towards a certain unfortunate reality. But it's not my ultimate, the very fact that I'm now, we're having to now have this question within our own selves. And it's an issue, like, listen, anti-natalism, like, this is why these concepts are there, okay? And so don't go to me and, like, say that this is very simple. People are just caught up in Maya, And so it's very interesting, and all of this is very interesting.
Okay, so I think I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your thought on it was, if somebody came to you and said, yeah, listen, it's cool that you're chilling, but man, I struggle, you would tell them to go inside, to go within.
Well, no one does it already. So first off, I'll just say that first off. But if someone comes to me and is now requesting answers from me, who am I? So first off, like, if you have, so I don't care who you are. First off, if you're able to understand what I just said, so you shouldn't come to me, first off, right?
In that moment, you are a crutch to them. In that moment, you are a shoulder to cry. In that moment, you are potentially knowledge that can help them. For anyone that's
ever wanted to, ask me of that, I've done it, and I know you've done it for people around you. So it's just like, we're already of service. So it's like, for people, we'll try to do our, I just, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you trying to push, because we need, like, this iron sharpens iron shit. But, I'm just trying to, go back to how, like, if you're listening to this, you should understand how, again, truth is nothingness, okay? There's ultimately nothing to do here. You understand, like, this whole, what is it, the principles people say with this nihilism stuff, pointlessness? Well, again, you should understand the point to that. So there's already a point. Within the pointlessness, there's truth, but there's no truth. So you should understand this whole, the law of, what is it, correspondence and duality and shit. Well, the non-dual, you should just, so it's just very simple. I appreciate you, asking these questions in that type of way, because it will lead certain people to the path. But yeah,
I'd say now actually, I'm asking you because it was a thought that was on my mind for, I don't know, I would say 2 years. Like, what am I going to say to them? But I sort of, now I guess what I would say is that that is not you in there. If you have a negative voice in there telling you you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly, right, you're useless, that is not you.
I'm only positivity. People say they're positive. Well, if you're positive, then this is, again, Mother Earth. Again, I have these videos up. Okay, well, if you're truthfully that positive light energy, well, then you kind of have to ascend. So you should get these concepts. It's all. It's very. I don't have to say anything else, right? You should get these all this shit, all this mystic shit. It's very simple.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's simple. I think it's complicated, and most people can't understand it or can't grasp it.
Out there. If you, like I said, like I, this is a journey, right? Hero's journey. Okay, then study, right? Go to certain things. Just go to YouTube, right? It's literally out there now. People are just so docile and apathetic, and that's on them. You can just go to your, you already do it, Chris, and I already do it. We're just trying to embody it and express it more. But the thing is out there. I gave plenty of references: Brother Panic, Bobby Hammock, you, me, Rita McLeod, A Drop in Melancholy, all these people. I can just fucking leave a comment site on your fucking, like, there's just so many people that are just, like you said, the truth community. Well, there's a lot of us. Well, then there should be everyone that's in this quote unquote community. They should have a word, right? This is my mic, right? And this is your mic. Well, you should have where's your mic for the people that's around you, right? A lot of people are silent, right? The whole silent weapons for quiet, whatever the fuck documentary. Was it Quiet Weapons for Silent Wars or something? Well, we all play a part in this, and that's important to just internalize and reflect these matters upon your own self. If you have knowledge of self, then again, you have to act accordingly in a certain way. That's why I reference these people, because they're good teachers and they need to get paid. Like, this is $1 million scholarship. Like, somebody like Wise, it goes back to first link, right? Mother Earth, and Wise teaches that. Anyone listening to this, if you guys go to somebody like him, Wise, I'm just shouting out people because somebody like him, that is the type of energy that people need to get on. It goes back to nature with the indigenous, and it's just simple things, man. And people are just they're very lost. They're bewildered. They're just wretched beasts, and I'm in there too. So it's a deep thing. One of the things that he mentioned, he has like his most. It goes back to the point. Like, it's just it all drive home a point. And one of the things his video, what is it? His most viewed is essentially saying we're in hell. And it's like, oh my God, but you should get the point, right? It's not saying much. Calm down. It's okay, Karen, but like, you should get the point. And this is a concern, controversy, a conflict realm, right? You hear the whole con man, right? You hear the phonics, the etymology. So if you're now, wanting to propagate a conflict, insanity. That is insanity. And so with the whole dumb, it's like, you can say dumb, but like the true like reincarnation, that's insane. And so if you're now hurt, my first video, true mental illness, that's why these concepts, that's why I can talk to anybody, right? Listen, and I'm not saying this world can't, because the world can clearly be a better place, but just go back to the simple, go to Rita McLeod. Rita McLeod had an Adam and Eve. I mean, this is all very simple, okay? You don't just, again, create need just to create need. You fix what's here that's needing help now, not just creating need for needless sake. And so people are just very dumb. And with that dumbness, it can then permeate into insanity. And that's
a great point, actually. Yeah, you're right. They're creating. Okay, I never really thought about it. Okay, now I think I'm understanding the thought a little deeper. We're creating more need. Like, we're already in a reality where this many kids every year is fucking starving. We already have people that need. We're creating more need. Okay, I see. I think I understand what you're saying.
Very simple, right?
Yeah, very simple.
I'm so complicated, right? Oh, he doesn't, like, I've been told, like, oh, I don't get what he's talking about. Okay, like, I resonate with, the skits and all these, mental ADHD, because these people, they have, like, a certain, it's just with this fucking human form, it doesn't maybe sometimes get expressed in a certain way that could be, easily perceived by the common man. Mm-hmm. But these people have a certain different, unique mind that if you can tap into it, we're all special in our own ways. So I'm just saying, I always say these fucking simple things. I'm not saying fucking much. It's all the concept of no self. And so if you understand yourself, then you should know, like, okay, people are really stupid. And so we go back to this mind. Okay, people are cut up in the Hylic mind, the monkey mind. And so that's the ultimate virus. That's the dumbness, right? And that's the insanity. That's through the way of the sperm and egg, procreation. And so I'm just laying the fucking thing, I'm just laying it out for people to understand. It's very simple. You don't do anything. What is there to do? Nothing. You do nothing. You don't create now this, what you want to say is something here for no reason at all, right? There's no logical, right? Very simple. Amendum. I apologize for not even saying, but like that's a great, like, I don't want to bring any, but he is very just computational with this shit. It's just so, again, there's plenty of people, Lawrence, Aiden or Ann, I don't know how to pronounce some of these people's names, but there's so many people, and anti-natalism is just one of the most visceral way to, put it. It's not saying, like, again, this world can't be a better place, because it can, but like, first we need to help what's needing help right now, right? Not just creating for sake. It's very simple.
Okay, I understand. I actually agree with all that. I think that,
so think about it like
creating need, let's help what needs to be helped.
Think about life like a party, right? Life like a party. We have parties, right? Well, we should know that within our own existence, if this is a party, that parties end, okay? So in a certain sense, that doesn't mean that life ends, right? But a party can end. And if you want to say this life is a party, if you want to say that this is any hot shit, okay, cool, but it's clearly going to come and go, right? Desire, fleeting, it's going to transient, constant state of flux. What? Give me a picture of you, Chris Sideris. Is it Sideris or Sideris?
Sideris.
I apologize.
That's all good. Everybody, dude, my whole life I know that. Actually, teachers, and I'm in class to learn how to read from these fucking people, used to call me Mr. Sideris. And I was like, how the fuck do you even see Sideris? But
that's why I don't know. I mean, if I were to post my name, again, if someone wants to know how to say my name, PayPal me, this all just goes back to the attention economy. If you don't already know these terms, look at the, attention economy, right? Attention is the currency, right? If you go back to etymology, phonics, symbolism, it's very, the attention, the mind awareness is the true thing getting exploited here. Like how we were saying with the whole mind, right? Yeah, well, the thing is there's a certain concept of a sacrifice, bull worship and the bullshit that's going on here because of all the things that people want to, manifest in this material matrix realm. Yeah, man, I already lost my.
Yeah, it happens, dude. Well, so far, listen, I'm probably gonna cut it off here now. I got work in the morning. Well, I'll say I got work in the afternoon. But dude, this was a great conversation. Thank you for having it with me. We're connected now on Discord, so hit me up anytime. I can actually let you know if you were willing to have any more conversations on my days off. I can give you an update, and we can have a second or even a third conversation, because these conversations are so important. Not to see who's right or whose thoughts to belittle or who to disagree with. Just to have the fucking conversations, period, in this reality. It must happen. So yeah, you got to come back again, brother, and bless us with some more thoughts. And I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Chris, man, you have such a amazing heart, man. I'm trying. Sometimes I try to just say so much because, like Ben Shapiro, right? These people, this again, it's a universe, right? So it's like waves, right? So for sound is a creator, but truthfully, it's silence. Like why solace, man? I always just try to give a lot of shout out to these teachers, because these people, again, it's all out there for people to know, but people just are so lost and want to just get caught up in Maya and these simple, mundane thought. The human thought, Bobby Hammond, is really the issue. This just terraform, carnal thought form is just so low and just superficial. But I just want to say that, again, you have such a great heart, Chris. And I just wanted to say that in a more slower tone, because again, like, you have just such a great way of, showing how much you care, and, with what you're doing, and what anyone that's looking to even hear this, especially at this point, almost 2 hours, wow. Again, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, we have a influence, we have a level of control, right? The whole concept of free will. It's like we get so lost in these concepts, and like you should get the point if you're listening, especially to this point, is that don't get lost in the sauce, right? And so, get control of your life first, right? Know the power within you, and then go from there and shine it out to the world. And that's what we're doing, and I appreciate you, man, for it.
Thank you, Illicit. Thanks again for coming on, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.